A very good evening and a warm welcome to all of our viewers. On behalf of Human Biological Institute and Fairless Against Rabies, Fairless Against Rabies is an initiative by Human Biological Institute to educate about rabies and reduce the incidence of disease. It is my pleasure to take this opportunity and share about Human Biologicals Institute. Human Biologicals Institute, a division of Indian Immunologicals Limited, shaping global healthcare by spearheading the One Health initiative. One Health initiative talks about the optimum health of animals, people, and the environment. Indian Immunological Limited was established by National Dairy Development Board (NDDB) in 1982 as its unit and later registered as a company in 1999 with the name Indian Immunologicals Limited. Human Biological Institute was established in the year 1998 when the Government of India requested Indian Immunological Limited to produce a modern tissue culture anti-rabies vaccine to phase out the unsafe nerve tissue vaccine. The first manufacturing facility of Human Biological Institute was established at Ooty. The facility is one of its kind in India to have rolled out first vero cell culture rabies vaccine in 2000. Subsequently, Human Biological Institute launched other vaccines and currently we are the major player in human vaccines. We are the leader in anti-rabies vaccine segment and present in around 60 countries. We are three state-of-the-art manufacturing facility at Ooty, Gachibowli and Karkapatla, also known as Genome Valley. Human Biological Institute has forayed into the market of clinical proven wellness products and infertility ranges of hormones. While coming to our vision, mission, and values, our vision is shaping global healthcare by spearheading the One Health initiative. Our mission is to innovate, produce, and market quality healthcare products and services to improve and extend lives. While coming to our values, we believe in providing affordable products with high quality through continuous technical innovations and improvements to meet our customers. As we know, we are a kind of company who will definitely look after taking care of the government environment as well. We proudly bring before you the Green Initiative. As we have launched our flagship brand, anti-rabies vaccine Abhayarab, with this we have taken significant step to reduce plastic burden by 160 ton per annum. As a company, we don't just manufacture and market products, but Human Biological Institute has done a lot in corporate social responsibility and has taken up various projects. One such project is the adoption of government school. Indian Immunological Limited has adopted two government schools in the vicinity of its Karkapatla facility in Hyderabad. Another program is Gift Milk Program in coordination with National Dairy Development Board. We are giving additional nutritional supplement to over 1,600 school-going children of Telangana and Tamil Nadu. We have also facilitated the setup of oxygen generation plant at Telangana Institute of Medical Sciences, Gachibowli. The unique advantage of this oxygen plant is that it is capable of supplying oxygen to 70 patients at a time. Well, you can visit us on our website www.indiaimmune.com. You can also contact us on our toll-free number 1800-313-999977. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So once again, I welcome all our viewers who have joined us live today on the Fairless Against Rabies platform. Well, in today's session, we are going to learn about the topic post-exposure prophylaxis against rabies. Rabies is an infectious viral disease that is almost always fatal once clinical symptoms appear. To enlighten us about this topic, we have a very special guest with us today. Please welcome Dr. Sudarshan Rao. Dr. Sudarshan Rao is highly experienced general surgeon with over 25 years of experience in general surgery and laparoscopy. Dr. Rao is currently a senior consultant surgeon in Udupi, Karnataka, and a visiting surgeon to various hospitals in the region. He has established his own diagnostic and daycare center called Injara Surgical Clinic, where he provides expert medical care to patients. In addition to his surgical expertise, Dr. Rao has written a handbook on rabies in Canada, which highlights his commitment to educating parents, patients, and the public about the serious disease. Doctor, very warm welcome on our Fearless Against Rabies platform.
Thank you.
Uh, Doctor, while we start our discussion for today, I would request you to please let our viewers know about that what is rabies and what are the modes of transmission.
Rabies is a disease is transmitted by an it is caused by virus. It basically causes
Doctor, your voice is cracking
basically a
in.
viral disease. The virus is RNA virus. Are you, are you able to hear
Doctor,
me?
your voice is cracking in. It is cracking in between.
Okay. It's
Now it is fine.
it is a RNA virus. The rabies is a zoonotic disease.
Okay.
Zoonotic disease means the disease which is transmitted by animals is called as zoonotic disease. This virus is a RNA type of virus called as Lissa virus, which will cause edema of the brain, swelling of the brain. This disease, this edema of the brain is called as encephalitis. The rabies is almost incurable, even in animals or even in human beings. So this is about the rabies disease and the virus. Anything special you need? Extra information?
Yes, doctor, what are the modes of transmission?
I told you this is a zoonotic disease. So animal is the host. From the animal, it will be transmitted to the human beings. The two ways of transmission from animal to a human being is by the bite of an animal or bite of a bat. But sometimes in Africa and some in America or even in China, there are caves in which the bats live. By inhaling the air of that cave, some persons have got rabies. So this is the two ways wherein you can get the rabies. The other one will be a human to human transmission. Suppose the patient has died because of the rabies, and without knowing that his organ has been transplanted to another person, then that person will get a same disease. Most common will be a corneal transplant, wherein the he is not diagnosed as a rabies, so he dies before the diagnosis, and his organ has been transplanted to another person. So in that way also we can get a disease. So these are the three ways where the rabies is transmitted. By from animals, it is basically from the bite.
Okay. Doctor, as you told about these modes of transmission, then what would be the incubation period for rabies after a person is bitten by an animal?
Yes. Once the animal bites the man, a human being, immediately we won't get the disease. We get the bite only.
Okay.
So the virus has to grow in our body. It has to go to the brain because the bite will be to either a limb or to the skin, somewhere in the skin surface. The disease is produced in the brain. The virus causes swelling of the brain. So virus has to multiply at the bite site. From then it has to enter into the pathway, nervous pathway. From the through the nerves, it has to transfer into the brain. So it will take minimum 7 days. But usually the incubation period from the bite to the onset of disease will be 1 month, but it can be 1 to 2 months also. But it can be as early as 7 days, or it can be as late as 2 years also.
Okay. So, when a person has contracted rabies and when he comes to the hospital, so that time, what is the process for confirming that a person has contracted rabies?
Okay. The rabies is basically diagnosed by the symptoms. What happens is the patient gives the history of some dog bite or animal bite, and after that, if he shows onset of fever, irrelevant behavior, or drowsiness, or difficulty to drink water, if those symptoms are there, then it will be almost you are sure that he has got rabies. But many times what happens is that patient won't give history of the bite because he would have forgotten it, or sometimes the bite will be very trivial in nature, very minimal in nature. So in that case, what happens is the patient comes with the irrelevant behavior. We may think that is having some psychotic problem. Or if he complains of lethargy or weakness or fever, we may think that it's some other viral illness. But what is the pathognomonic sign of rabies is hydrophobia. The patient finds it difficult to drink water. What happens is when the water is came brought near to him, he will get a bronchospasm. So he will not be able to breathe properly. So he gets bronchospasm. So he gets that's called the typical of rabies. What is that? The fear of water. So if that symptom is there, or there are signs of encephalitis like drowsiness, convulsions, muscle stiffness, or paralysis is there, then also we have to think of rabies. So diagnostic test will be, in case if you suspect, diagnostic test will be a blood test, what is called as uh, direct agglutination test, D FA. Okay. So in this, what happens is that is usually done after death of the person or this one. We have to collect the sample of the brain, and we have to submit for that test. But when the patient is alive, if you want to diagnose, then we can send his saliva for RT-PCR. But these tests are usually not easily available, not routinely available everywhere. So most of the time, diagnosis will be on clinical basis, particularly on the basis of hydrophobia, right?
Okay. Right. So, uh, doctor, are there any? So, what are the categories of animal bites that are considered for rabies exposure?
So what is more important in rabies is the treatment of rabies almost is not going to save any patient. So what will be is important will be discussion on dog bites is more important than discussion on rabies. So whenever there is an animal bite or a dog bite, we categorize into three ways. Category one is will be a simple, which is called as just lick of the animal. Lick on unabrased skin. There should not be any wound on our body. So in intact skin, if the dog bites, dog licks, then it is called as grade one.
Okay.
Grade two is that there is whenever there is a breach of the skin by scratch or even by the teeth of the animal. There is only a scratch, but there is no bleeding. Then it is called as grade 2. The what this grade 3 will be when there is a deep bite or there is a bite to the hand or face. Okay, and if you are sure that it is bitten by a rabid animal, or if any wild animal has been bitten, wild animal like fox or any tiger, this one bear or something like that. In wild animal, monkeys, if you are bitten by that wild animal, then this category is taken as category 3. So categorization of the this wound is very important because we decide on the preventive measures. That preventive treatment depends on these categories. So grade one will be treated with very conservative treatment. With grade two we have different approach, and grade three wound we have a different approach. Yeah.
Thank you, doctors. Doctor, as you said that about, as you informed our viewers about that, what is rabies and what are the incubation period as well as the categories. Then, in that case, how should one manage the animal bite?
See, whenever there is animal bite, the most concern will be one is infection, just general infection. Patient may get cellulitis, edema of the leg, infection in the pus formation in the that wound, bitten part. Second will be tetanus. You cannot, when in the fear of rabies, you should not forget tetanus. Third will be rabies. So we have to manage three aspects of this bite at a go. So first will be the washing of the wounds. The washing of the wounds with soap and water, under tap water. Water it will remove all the dirt, saliva, and also virus particle from the wound. Then you can apply some betadine solution so that that will kill the virus. It's a virucidal, it will kill the virus. And you can take some antibiotics and also injection tetanus toxide to prevent tetanus. This will be the common whether you have a grade 1 bite, grade 2 bite, or grade 3 bite. This will be done to every patient. Okay. Then in grade 1, you don't need any other treatment other than washing the wound and applying betadine ointment. But in grade 2 and grade 3, you have to give rabies preventive vaccination. You have to give vaccination to prevent rabies. And in grade 3, the along with this vaccination.
Doctor, you mentioned about this word immunoglobulin. Can you please enlighten our viewers that what is anti-rabies immunoglobulin and how it is used in the treatment of rabies?
See, I told you about the incubation,
Doctor, you're
wherein
not.
the incubation, I told you about the incubation. Incubation period is usually 1 month to 2 years. If the incubation is 1 month, then we have got enough time because when we are administering rabies vaccine, it will the course of the rabies vaccine is stretched over the period of 1 month. And patient once the vaccine is given, the adequate immunity will be developed after nearly 7 days, 7 to 14 days. In case the incubation period becomes shorter, because I told you the incubation period can be as short as 7 days, and also it depends on the viral load, how much virus has entered into his body. So in case of a rabid animal bite, or is a wild animal bite, or when the dog has bitten to the face or the arms, which are nearer to the brain. So so we have to give additional protection other than giving the vaccine. The vaccine, what will make vaccine will act slowly, and it will make our body to produce antibodies against this virus. But in a case where the rabid animal has been bitten, or when the case where the it is bitten to the face or arms, then we have to have protection within us much more earlier than the vaccine developed protection. So we give immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulins are nothing but they are ready-made antibodies. Which antibodies the same vaccines will make us to produce on our own. We give the ready-made antibodies to the patient. There are two ways of types of immunoglobulin. One is equine, which is produced by the horse, and also second by the human. The human is always better because it will gives less reactions, but its less dose is also less, but it's little costlier. And equine also equally potent, but some patients they develop reaction to this immunoglobulin. So immunoglobulins are administered to the grade 3 wounds. Grade 3 wounds are nothing but the wounds caused by the rabid animal, wild animal, and also wounds over the face and the arms. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, doctor, for answering that question. So, doctor, as you said about the rabies vaccine, so we want to know that what are the different types of rabies vaccine available?
The vaccination of the rabies is called post exposure vaccination,
Okay.
post exposure prophylaxis. You must have heard the nerve cell vaccine which was given to the umbilicus in the olden days, but I think they are obsolete now. Now we have the modern day vaccines which are given to the arms, deltoid region. So we have human deployed vaccines. We have cell culture vaccine like virocell vaccines. We have chick embryo vaccine. We have duck embryo vaccines. All these vaccines are good, more equally efficacious and equally safe. But human deployed cell vaccine is little costlier when compared to the virocell vaccines and chick embryo vaccine.
Okay. So, doctor, are there any recommended vaccination schedule for individual at risk of exposure?
So risk of exposure means one is pre-exposure.
Okay.
Before getting exposed, some people are at risk, like postmen, those who handle the dogs. So they can take pre-exposure prophylaxis.
Okay.
Once the dog has bitten, there is nothing like risk. He has to take it because there is always a risk of the rabies being he's getting rabies. So that is called as post-exposure prophylaxis. So these post-exposure vaccines are given in two ways. One in the deltoid region, intramuscular, or it can be given intradermal also, intradermal at multiple sites. So the schedule will be on 0 day. 0 day means the day when the dog has bitten or when the day patient has come to the doctor. Suppose the patient has bitten by a dog today and he comes after 3 days, we will consider 0 day as the day when the vaccine has been administered. First day of 0 day, and it will be a third day, 1, 2, 3. That means it will be 4 days. Then it will be a seventh day, and again it will be on 14th day, and again it will be on 28th day. Total 5 doses he has to take. So it can be given intramuscular or also intradermal. Both are equally efficacious. What is the advantage of intradermal is that we need lesser dose, lesser quantity of vaccine. So we can be one vial can be administered to nearly 3 4 patients.
Okay.
This will little be cost effective. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, doctor. So, so is there any protocol for managing re-exposure to rabies?
Yeah, some people get bitten by a dog many times. Very surprising that I think whether they tease the dogs or a dog come to them, attract them. I don't know. They very frequently come with the dog bites. So the for re-exposure, there's a protocol. For grade 3 wounds, suppose the patient gets a grade 3 wounds. If he has already taken a vaccine, otherwise, we would have given him immunoglobulin. For first exposure, for grade 3 wounds, we recommend immunoglobulin. For this person, since he has already immunized once, so once he is bitten by a dog, then there is no need to give the immunoglobulin for the re-exposed persons. Okay. And second thing, how much before he has been vaccinated? If the person has been vaccinated within 1 year, then he need not take any injection now. Within 1 year of bite, he need not take any injection now. Between 1 to 3 years, some people say 1 to 5 years also. If you give a booster dose, it's enough. Booster dose will be on 0 day and on third day to 7 day. Any day between third day to 7 day, you can take a booster dose. One will be on 0 day on the day when the dog has been bitten, and other will be on the third day or seventh day. That is for from 1 year to 3 years. And after 3 years, and some people say it is going to be 5 years also. After 3 years or 5 years, he has to take a full course again.
Okay. So that means it is different from the initial post-exposure prophylaxis treatment.
Yes, yes. In initial post prophylaxis, he has to take all 5 injections. But in case of re-exposure, if he has taken the vaccination before, even if he has taken pre-exposure prophylaxis also, then for class 3 wounds, he need not take immunoglobulin. For within 1 year of bite, he need not take any vaccine. 1 to 3 years or 1 to 5 years, we recommend booster dose.
Okay. Well, thank you once again, doctor, for giving us a lot of information on today's topic.
Thank you.
Well, it's time to take questions from our viewers, doctor.
Yeah.
There's one question from Venkateshwar Vaidya. So, does rabies virus survive and viable to transmit the disease outside the host?
The see only the way the rabies is transmitted is by the bite of the animal, and also said from the inhalation of the caves, air in the caves of where the vampire bats live. The virus will not survive. There is no way. There is the fomite transmission. Like what you have told is fomite, like that, just like corona. The virus will be there in the mobile or in the door handles or toilet flush, and then you touch another person touches that and it will transmit. This that type of transmission is not there. The virus has to enter the wound of a person, then only it will be transmitted.
Thank you so much, doctor, for answering that question. We do have another question. The question is, if I have bitten by an animal, how soon should I seek medical attention, and what steps should I take care for the wound before seeing a doctor?
So once you have been bitten by an animal, so you have to wash it immediately with soap and water. That is the very the simplest treatment. You copious water, you use any amount of water and soap, you wash it so that all the saliva and viral particles are flushed away from the wound. That will be the best treatment which you can give. And immediately after that, as soon as possible, you take the vaccination. This is the only option you have.
There's another question, but doctor, you've already answered that. So the question is, what type of animals are commonly carriers of rabies, and what are the signs that an animal may be affected?
The carrier state, once it was thought that carrier state in a animal is rare, but we have found that there are there is a carrier state of rabies in animals also. And second thing that the animal may not show signs of rabies, it may be in the prodromal phase, and after 2 or 3 days or within a week, it may show the signs of the rabies. So that's why we have to take treatment for all animal bites, even immunized dogs also. Even the dogs has been immunized. The immunization will protect only the dog and not you. Okay, so even if the immunized dog has been bitten, you have to take the protection. And the second question is that what are the symptoms of the rabies in an animal? As I said, carrier animal may not have any symptoms, but if the patient, the dog has got a symptom disease of the rabies, there are two types. One is violent form and the one is dumb form. In violent form, the dog will not recognize you, even if it is from your home. It will not recognize you. It will shout at you. It will try to attack you, and it will show a violent behavior. And it will run around this side and that side, and it try to bites each and every person. And then later it will become dull and it will become get convulsion and drooling of the saliva will be there and it will die. In dumb variety, it will not be violent. From day one only it will be dull and it will be drowsy and it will slowly die.
Thank you so much, doctor, for answering that question. There's one more question from Mr. Prakash. He's asking, how long does rabies post-exposure prophylaxis last?
So there was no. Can you just repeat me the question?
Sure, doctor. Uh, how long does rabies post-exposure prophylaxis last?
Yeah, the rabies post-exposure prophylaxis. I told you for 1 year. If the dog, if you are being bitten by a dog again after 1 year, within 1 year, then you will not take. And you have to take the booster after 1 year. 1 year, if you have 1 year, then if you take a booster dose, then if you want to keep on taking the dose every year, you have to take the booster. So the that means the enough protection lasts for only for 1 year. If you want to extend the protection, then you have to take booster dose every year. So it is applicable to those animal handles. And when they take pre-exposure vaccination, then they will ask us how long this vaccination will last. It will last only for 1 year. And every year, next year, they have to take one dose of booster, one injection. And for the next year also, they have to take one more injection for booster. So as long as they will be a dog handlers, they have to take one injection every year.
Okay. Well, doctor, there's another question from Ms. Divija. She's asking, sometimes pet animals also bite or scratch. At that point, do we need to go for vaccination, though we already vaccinated the pets?
That I have told you, no, the vaccination to the dog is given for its protection and not for
Yes.
our protection. The vaccination given to dog will not protect us. So it may be a carrier of the virus in the body, in the saliva, and you cannot take any risk. You have to vaccinate, whether the dog is vaccinated or not, whether your pet is vaccinated or not. If you are bitten by that animal, you have to take vaccination for your safety.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for answering the questions from our viewers. Well, Doctor, is there any important information about the rabies disease that you would like to communicate to the audience before we conclude?
Yeah, before that, I saw one very important question. That is, if the dog is alive after 10 days after biting and scratching, can we stop that? That's a old method.
Yes.
Oh, there was an old method that doctors used to wait for 10 days to see that whether dog is alive or not. And in the case the dog dies, then they used to start the vaccination. Oh, that became obsolete because some of the patients developed the symptoms early. So waiting for the dog to die for 10 days and then starting the treatment is obsolete. This is a different question where this person will start vaccination 0 day and third day and seventh day he will take, and he wants to miss the 10th 14th day fourth dose in case the dog is alive. I advise you to continue the vaccination because this whatever the three doses you have taken will be a waste. Will not be efficacious for that. And if you take two more doses, the protection will last for 1 year. And in case you better in the life, and you need not take the immunoglobulins. And second risk will be in case the dog dies after 12th day or 15th day, 17th day, again in a trouble. Watching the dog for 10 days is not recommended at all. In whatever way, you just forget the dog. If you are bitten by an animal, take the vaccination and be safe.
Uh, Thank you so much, Doctor, for answering all
And
the.
the important aspect in rabies will be vaccination, because there is no point in discussing rabies because you cannot cure rabies. Almost, I think, hardly 10, 15 people in the world have survived out of, from the rabies. That may be a wrong diagnosis also. Okay, one thing. Second thing, worldwide, more than 50,000 people are dying due to dog bites, and only way the rabies can be prevented is by vaccination. 100% vaccination, vaccination of the pets, and also vaccination of the person who has been bitten by the dogs. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Doctor,
Thank
for
you.
sharing the important information as well as solving the queries from the audience. So, Doctor, thank you so much. It was a wonderful session. And we wholeheartedly thank you, Doctor, on behalf of my team as well as the Human Biological Institute for sparing your most valuable time with us.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity also.
Thank you. And I know a lot of people who are watching us today are benefited from this wonderful session. I wholeheartedly thank our viewers as well for being with us in each and every session. Well, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter to get more updates on Live Talk with experts, doctor across the nation. With that, I wish everyone a very good evening. Good evening, doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.